All right. All right, you ready? Go.
Good afternoon, everybody. Here we are with Alicia, our farrier, Brenda, our handler, and here we have Jillian, who's shadowing Alicia, and Miss Cheyenne. This is their first time getting their hooves trimmed. We'll let Alicia get the first couple of hooves done here, and then she can give us a little information and feedback on what she's finding. You want to swing around, Karen, so you can take a look at her hooves? So little to no frog in these guys is what we've found so far, Alicia. How far past due would you say these guys are for having their feet done?
I mean, they're pretty long, but it's hard to say if they have broken off. I would assume that it's been many months since. I mean, the frog trimmed up really nice, though. It's healthy.
Oh, that did. Good.
Mm-hmm. That looks much better, but I mean, there's a ton of growth here. Ideally, you would not like them to get this long. It pulls on their hoof capsule, which can put strain on their tendons, cause lameness.
And we already know that she has a condition with her fetlock area, her collapsed suspensories. And so we gave these guys a couple of weeks to get settled in here, so we didn't do too much to them all at one time. And as you saw recently, they had their first grooming, and Cheyenne had her antifungal bath. So we're slowly getting them on a regular schedule of care without doing too much to them at one time. But that's cleaning up really nicely.
Yes, it looks pretty nice when it's trimmed. Plenty of hoof wall. I would have thought she has cute little hooves.
Cute little feet. So this is definitely going to make her a lot more comfortable. So if you want to swing around, Karen, when she pulls her foot forward. And and you notice she has some inflammation here on there. So that's a little tender spot.
Seems pretty calm.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's sweetheart.
Oh, that's pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is it uncommon for a horse in her body condition to have feet this, I guess, somewhat healthy?
Well, depending on where they were at, they can self-break off. But this is a horse giving her collapsed suspensories would definitely need to be maintained hoof care. You know, maybe even on a 5-week schedule. Because if you look here, Karen, on her front leg, see how it's dropped right here?
Yep.
So this is a very painful condition, and if you have the hoof wall where it's grown out further length here, is putting even more pressure there. So in a horse that has this type of condition, it's very important for regular hoof care.
Okay.
No, she's right over there.
Got a gnat in my eye.
Yeah. The gnats. Florida
Yes,
gnats are the
yes,
worst.
the gnats, the flies.
Gotta love it.
Oh, baby. Easy, girl. Okay. Easy, mama. It's okay.
Yeah.
So, Alicia, if it's not too much of a bother, can you tell us a little bit about how frequently a horse should have their hooves trimmed? And I know it does vary from horse to horse, but on an average.
On an average, my clients keep their horses on a 6-week schedule, but I know that they go in between 5 and 8 weeks, depending on the horse, depending on what they do with them, how their hooves grow.
And and the reason that we have to be responsible for their hoof care is we've domesticated horses, and in the wild, horses can self-regulate with their hoof care, but because we have domesticated them, we've taken away a lot of their natural abilities for self-care. So it's extremely important for regular hoof care.
A lot of people that ride a lot, they seem to wear off their feet a little bit more than others. Some horses that stand in a little square paddock, they're not wearing off anything naturally, just standing there.
Yeah. And again, that would have a lot to do with the type of weather conditions the horses are having to endure.
Correct.
Here in Florida, we're a subtropical climate, so it's not very friendly in a lot of respects for horses in general, and specifically their hoof care.
We see a lot of abscesses and thrush when it gets real wet outside.
And then we have periodic droughts in here, which causes the expansion and of the hooves that drying out. And I know we just went through a bout with a lot of the rescues and boarded horses with the drying out of the hooves, and which will cause vertical cracks as well.
So Alicia, Tara Hawk just gave you some props. She said you're always very patient and kind with her boys.
Alicia is awesome.
Hey, Tara.
It does. This is definitely going to make her a lot more comfortable.
Now, how old is she again?
Let's see, 27 and a half, I believe.
Something like that, yeah.
Yep.
She's seen
Everything's
her for
in this during this heat all becomes very blurry.
sure. Yeah. So Brenda actually went with you to get these girls, so
Yes, she sure did.
yeah.
It was a fun day.
Yes, it was. We had special music playing in the background.
Yeah. So a little bit about Jillian.
Yep. So Jillian, when did you first start volunteering out here?
I think around 2011 or 2010.
Yeah.
To
You
remember.
were a little. I was seeing some pictures of you when you first came out. You were a little one. I'm not very good at age. I just know about height. My mom says, "Well, how old are they?" I said, "Well, they're about this big."
Yes.
And so Jillian just recently graduated from high school, and she's been apprenticing under Alicia, and is actually getting ready to go to farrier school up in Kentucky.
Yay!
That's awesome.
Excited but nervous.
Oh yeah, but you're going to do phenomenal.
Yes.
You've been in training since you've been here.
Yes, ma'am.
And Alicia's a phenomenal teacher, and so in most circumstances we would not stand directly behind the horse, but Alicia is schooling Jillian on the proper trim and some various things that she may encounter on different horses, and this horse has proven that she's a safe horse. We've been picking her feet out, and so she's been extremely gentle, so it's a safe position for her to be in.
Okay.
They're actually cleaning up quite nicely.
Very, very nice.
Beautiful. Here.
Tassel's coming out of her now.
She's so sweet.
Her lump that-
I'm sorry.
the lump under here. Is that a hernia?
Yeah, that's actually a hernia that was left unattended. Dr. Daniels palpated the area and doesn't believe it's of any issue. It's not small enough where it's going to constrict anything, so we don't need to do anything for that at this time.
So what she's referring to is this
Yes.
lump right here.
Yep, that's a hernia that had been left untreated. But it's big enough that it's not going to be a risk factor for constricting any part of her anatomy coming through that area.
That's just hoof with a brown.
So,
Yeah, that's-
Alicia, just as a random question, just for lay people, how much sole do you know to take off there? What is your barometer on deciding how much to take off?
Well, you trim your frog first, and then your frog tells you, because you got your coffin bone that sits underneath it.
Uh-huh.
You got to leave them something to stand on.
And so, and for the most part, they should be standing, in a perfect world, they should be standing on the actual hoof wall itself, correct?
Correct. And when they don't, that's typically when they're lame. If they're standing on their sole, which would be this part, you have lameness issues. Bruising.
And then, yeah, and that can also have a lot to do with a horse's conformation. So you would be trimming a horse that was upright a little differently than maybe this young lady.
Yes, but I mean, all your horses, you want hoof wall. You don't want any horse to stand on its sole, ever. This horse just had some neglect, so you got a lot of distortion in its hoof capsule because they did not trim it regularly. Easy, darling. Let me pee. No, it's just pulling away.
So you think there's any white line going on in there?
I wouldn't say it's white line. It just pulled away. It was packed with rocks and dirt. You can put an antibacterial or antifungal, whatever you'd like to pour in it, but I'm sure by the time I dress it, it's not going to be there
Okay.
anymore.
So if you can hear some whinnying in the background, that's Pocahontas, her partner in crime. If anybody has any questions out there in Facebook world, please feel free to ask them. Alicia will do her best to answer any questions that you may have. Or if you have any questions for us, we'll do our very best to answer them. If we don't have the answers for you right now, we'll definitely come back and get the answers you're seeking. Yep, she's a tiny little girl.
So they came here on June the 11th, I
June the
believe,
11th,
right?
yep.
Yeah.
So they're pretty much settled in. They're down to a rhythm. We have originally they were on a feeding program that required 6 very small meals a day. We have dropped those meals and increased their feed, and they are now down to 3 meals a day, and they're doing exceedingly well so far.
Yeah, Shirley was, how's their weight gain so far?
You know, it's hard to tell with a horse this skinny, but there has been pretty good weight. We will have them on the digital scale later today, and we'll give you some feedback on what we found with their weight gain.
I mean, there isn't anything in it.
But again, we don't want to put too much weight on too fast. That can be traumatic for their system. And their organs, they won't be able to handle too much too soon.
Okay. She's done. So I'm going to exit out of this video for now and get ready for the next round.
Okay.
All right. So thanks for
Alrighty.
tuning in, guys.